Wouldn't it be great if there was an easy way to evaluate what an investment property is worth? You know, where you could just type in the address, the bedroom and bathroom count for each unit, and then bam, all of a sudden you get this estimate of value. Kind of like Zillow works, the way Zillow works for houses and condos. Well, I'm sorry to say, I don't think that's ever going to happen for investment properties. There's just too many variables because no two investment properties are the same. Even when you've got identical buildings on the same street, you're gonna have some differences that you need to adjust the value for. First thing that would come to mind is rent, or maybe it's tenant stability and the length of their lease agreements, or additional income from things like parking or laundry. See, the general public does not have access to that type of information. So your best bet is to call realtors like us who specialize in investment property and can run this analysis for you. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I get and analyze the data so you can see how we come up with the estimated value for a 4-unit property. Now, this can work for all types of investment properties, anything from 2 to 4 units all the way up to the big apartment complexes. The method works in any market, anywhere in the world. And the example that we're going to use today is one of Lyle's 4-plex buildings. So you're going to get a behind the scenes version of what we do when a buyer or a seller asks us to evaluate an investment property. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I am Lynnor Anderson, part of a father-daughter realtor team right here in San Diego. Once you see what we do here, if you like us to, we can run an analysis just like this for your property. Just click the link below and be sure to give us as much information about your property as you can. That way we can be as accurate as possible with our estimate. Now, before we get started, if you're like us, you hate the constant calls, texts, and emails from either cash buyers or commercial broker scouts asking if we want to sell an investment property. I've gotten 3 calls like that this week. I just want to assure you, we do not share your information, nor do we spam. It's not ethical, and I feel it's a pretty pathetic practice to gain business. Okay, rant over. Let's look at Lyle's 4-plex on Lansing Circle in Escondido and come up with the current value today. So the first thing we're going to do is run comps. Here is where you need your realtor's help because we subscribe to the MLS and we have proprietary data that we can use. I always start with the most broadest search possible. I gather all of the units that have sold within a mile radius and sometimes further out. And in this case, we're going to look at all 4 zip codes of Escondido with closings within the last 6 months because I know the market here and I know we have some good closed comps to work with. The goal is to compare apples to see what closest matches we can find to the property that we're analyzing. We have 4 that have popped up here. That's plenty to work with because an appraiser is only going to need to look at 3 closed comps for the buyer's loan. I calculate the average gross rent multiplier for these closed properties based on the actual rents. This is the part that an owner or a potential buyer cannot do on their own because they don't have access to the MLS data. So the next thing I do is look at each property. I add up their monthly rents to get a total gross rent for the year. Then I divide that amount by the sales price, and that's how I get the GRM or the gross rent multiplier. So here's my spreadsheet. At first glance, you think the average GRM is right around 14. But then there's this oddball on Grape with a GRM of 10.12. When I pulled up the detailed MLS info, the agent doesn't have the current rents filled out. The only thing they told us is that the gross scheduled income was $88,800. So we really don't know if that's accurate. If so, it seems like the property was sold well below market value. Or maybe the seller wanted a quick sale. Maybe the agent didn't do their homework on the neighborhood values. Either way, it's an oddball in comparison to the others that have closed. We got 2 on the same street on Lansing, and then our closed comp across town on Crofton. For the sake of what we're doing, I'm just going to throw that one out. So if we use these other 3, we have an average GRM of 14.28. So let's roll with that. Lyle's current rents at his place are $1,335, $1,680, $1,680, and he just signed a new lease at $1,750. The total monthly rents are $6,445 or $77,340 a year, using 14.28 as the average GRM. That puts his building conservatively around $1,104,000. Now, I look at the condition and some of the value-added features like parking and laundry. I happen to know that Lyle's building has an extra 8 off-street parking spots that he charges $30 each for each month, and that 3 of his 4 units are completely rehabbed. If I was gonna put his building on the market today, I'm thinking we'd be in the $1,150,000 range. I get pretty nerdy with all the details, comparing all the differences. That way I can help gauge value, including what our competition looks like. Now, I almost just forgot. I wanna mention, as each comparable property sells or you raise your rents, your estimated valuation changes because this market is constantly changing. I gotta tell you, it has been a blast the past few years. When we first start talking with an owner about selling their property, we look at the value at that specific time. Then, about after a month or so of prepping the property for sale, we're gonna reevaluate the property based on the market at that current time. It is not uncommon to see a substantial jump, anywhere from 50 to maybe 200,000. And this isn't just happening for our investment properties. We're seeing it with our clients' homes and condos too. So I hope this quick example helps you understand what kind of work goes into an investment property evaluation and why I think we're never really gonna see an automated system for this type of valuation. Do you wanna know what your property is currently worth? Reach out to us with that link down below. We'd be happy to get you the current value of your property right now at no charge. And no, we will not be calling and harassing you about listing the property for sale or that we have cash buyers for your buildings. We know you hear enough of that. What we do know is that when the time's right and you're ready, you'll reach out to us either to buy or sell your property. If you found this info helpful, please be sure to share this video with your friends who own investment properties, and be sure to give the video a like and subscribe to our channel. That way you're getting notifications every time we come out with a new video about San Diego investment property. See you on the next one.